a rock star of Realcomm. You saw him in the general session yesterday. This man knows everything about anything. Please welcome Don Goldstein. Thank you for coming on. Great to see you.
My pleasure.
Wow. Hasn't it been an exciting conference?
It's been incredible.
Why is it so incredible?
Well, that's a great question because I've been coming here for many years, and the economy's had ups and downs, the industry has had ups and downs, but I haven't seen the energy we've had here in a very, very long time.
It's as if, someone said yesterday that, and I think it was Tom Shercliffe who said that there was a silver lining in the recession, in a sense that it may have made the entire industry leaner, more hungry to look for innovation,
right.
and it's brought us all back stronger and more agile and more nimble. Do you think there's something to that?
Absolutely. I think there are two aspects to it. I think the first thing is that with the consumerization of everything and devices going into hands of people who never used technology before,
right.
never took the time to use technology or even try to understand it. Take the brokers,
okay.
right, as one population. The fact that they are all walking around with iPads instead of laptops.
Right.
And they're constantly looking at those iPads and interacting with the iPads and putting in their apps on them, putting all their information in there. That's changed a lot of things. The second thing is that I think there's been a realization that the productivity gains from technology are real. And so the idea that, we have to be careful because there's too much uncertainty in the general economy, certainly in Europe right now. And so you'd think that when it comes to investments in technology, companies will be more conservative. I think actually what's happening is that companies are realizing that in order to contain their costs, they have to leverage technology in their buildings, in their processes, in almost everything they do. And that's changed the dialogue. It's changed the internal dialogue I'm having in my company. And I think it's changing the dialogue that everyone is having from the technology side with the business.
Without giving away too many secrets, what is the buzzword that you're looking at CBRE, and really with an aim toward helping people watching this who are out there, they're in real estate, they're investing, they're making moves. What do we all need to be keeping our eye on right now, if you, in your opinion?
So let me put it this way.
Okay.
There's a lot of information, which means there's also a lot of noise. And what I hear a lot of talk about is, let's filter this information to what's usable. What do we really need? Because otherwise, you're just inundated from all aspects. And so I really do think it's about the information, it's about the data, making use of it, putting it into ways that people can visually see and understand at a glance. I'll give you an example. With the iPads and with social media, with Twitter, with Facebook, with LinkedIn, with all the information that's coming at us, if you think about it, when was the last time that anyone started an article on, say, an iPad and finished it without, oh, I want to go over here, because embedded in that article is a link to something else I want to see.
Right.
And so I think that we don't really have, people don't have time to spend to look at a lot of information. So they want it distilled to them in a way that they can make sense of it. So what we have to do in IT, we have to transform basically how we operate and have people who can provide the analytics out of the data.
How do we go about doing that?
Well, what you need are savvy, technical people who also can interact with the business. It's a different kind of person. It's a person who's an analyst, who can be an analyst on the business side and also understand the technical side to be able to take the information, make meaningful reporting of it, and provide it to whether it's executives who run the business, whether it's our clients, right? Or internally, any population that has decision making they need to do. And for a long time, it was very difficult to do that in a cost-effective way. And now the costs are such and the capabilities are such that I think it's doable. The problem is finding the people who can do it. That's the hard part.
And let me ask you this, if the year's, this is a crazy example, but if the year's 1980 and I'm hiring someone to consult with me on technology, I've got 5 guys who are telling me I need to have a Betamax player and 5 guys telling me I need a VHS player.
Right.
So as someone who has watched technology grow, what's one of the bellwethers or some of the bellwethers to let you know whether you're heading toward Betamax or whether you're heading toward VHS? How do I know whether I've got a person who has a nose for this?
That's a really good question, because what I've found is if you try to find someone who is deep into a specific technology and that's where that person wants to live, that's going to be a very difficult thing to sustain.
Right.
So instead, I'd rather look, and I face this all the time. I have parts of the business on the IT side who, where we're trying to standardize, say, our platform. They're very good in the business, they understand the business, but when it comes to developing applications or dealing with information, they're working in a different technology than the one we want to introduce. But because they know the business so well, I can train them on the technology. So even if they've been living in Betamax, I can teach them VHS.
Right.
And they'll want to learn it, right? Because they see that tidal wave coming. But because they have the knowledge of the business, because they know the people in the company, because they understand the information that the clients and their internal clients are looking for, then the technology part is secondary. And I don't really have to, they'll transform themselves.
So you're basically training people both technically, but also to develop their own sense, their own kind of internal compass of what works, and teaching IT people what business considerations are and what business considerations IT are.
It's interesting. I go back to Tuesday, we had the CIO roundtable. We had Martha Heller speak to us, and she was talking about this CIO paradox where, on the one hand, we're supposed to contain costs. On the other hand, we're supposed to innovate and invest. One of the things she said that CIOs need to know how to do is be a chameleon.
Yes.
We need to be able to change our colors, right? Depending on which way the wind is blowing. And I think that extends to the enterprise. We have to be able to adapt because technologies will come in, technologies will go out. People need to roll with those punches.
Very cool. Don, I can't thank you enough for being here on Conference Live. Thanks for giving us a viewpoint of what it is to be in your position. And I got to ask you this.
Sure.
What's one thing that it's moving towards? What's one technology, one direction, one buzzword that you see us just heading down the field toward?
I wish I could say it's just one thing, because I have about 20 of them running through my mind.
19.
I think that there's a lot of what we're hearing about this Internet of Things. And, we heard Mark Peacock talk about it yesterday, that it's not that it's going to come, that it's here now. And I think that's absolutely true. I think that our infrastructure in our firms needs to be able to be at a point where it can bring in all of these devices that are coming onto our network and being able to deal with that. I think that if we're not ready for that to come to us, we're going to be really unprepared. So I would say that's not a very sexy thing, right?
Yeah.
The infrastructure, but you can't make it as an afterthought. We really have to make sure that we have, in our space, we have to make sure the foundation is there. Otherwise, you can't build a Class A building on top of it.
Yeah.
And I think we really have to make sure in our industry, in our companies, that we have that foundation.
Fantastic. Planning ahead for the Internet of Things.
Great.
Thank you so much,
you.
Don.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much.